Hi everyone, my name is Ella Fischer and today I will be presenting the paper Does Cultural Matter? Impact of Individualism and Uncertainty Avoidance on App Reviews, written together with Rita Watzog and Emitia Guzman from the Maastricht University and Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam. The paper is about cultural differences in user feedback in app reviews. And as most people probably already know, many apps are used by people all over the world. Some prominent examples are Instagram or Google Maps. What we also already know in this context is that software features as well as app preferences and usage by users from various countries differ. However, regardless of the diverse audience of these apps, most approaches for automatically processing user feedback have used reviews stemming from the US and written in the English language only. This potentially leads to an algorithmic bias. Despite the potential impact of cultural differences on user feedback, there are actually only a few studies that have examined this topic. Thus, our work aimed to investigate cultural differences in user feedback from Apple App Store reviews and trying to reduce the research gap. For our research, we used Hofstadter's popular cultural model, which describes national cultures using 6 dimensions. In order to reach a more accurate conclusion of the cultural influences, we selected the countries to be studied in our cultural sample based on 2 cultural dimensions, namely individualism and uncertainty avoidance. Individualism is the degree to which individuals take care of themselves and a group of people, while uncertainty avoidance describes to which amount members of a specific culture desire to know things that might occur in the future. Following this approach, we selected 8 countries, each with a high or a low level of individualism or uncertainty avoidance. We defined the high and low categories according to the scores of each country in the 2 cultural dimensions. The threshold that we have used in this assessment was 50. Using this approach, we obtained 2 countries per cultural group. The countries that we analyzed were the People's Republic of China, Singapore, Pakistan, Mexico, France, Germany, Great Britain, and the United States of America. After selecting the countries, we actually started collecting data. In total, we collected 647,141 reviews. And in the subsequent analysis, we selected 3,120 reviews from users in 8 countries and 5 languages, namely Chinese, English, French, German, and Spanish, over a period of 6 months. Each of the countries has the same proportion of reviews in the sample. The sample was then labeled by 10 annotators, in which 2 annotators each labeled a respective review. Afterwards, we resolved the disagreements using a combination of an automatic and a manual content analysis. Building upon existing literature, we developed our research hypothesis using common user feedback characteristics such as text length, rating, sentiment, and content categories, and analyzed them with the help of statistical models. The statistical analysis were performed using ANOVA, among other methods. The results for the ratings actually show that the cultural dimension individualism have a statistically significant influence on the rating of the app review. Accordingly, we can conclude that users from individualistic cultures give lower ratings compared to users from collectivistic cultures. The influence of cultures on converted text length shows that users from individualistic cultures and cultures with lower uncertainty avoidance provide more detailed feedback than from collectivistic cultures or high uncertainty avoidance cultures. For the sentiment analysis, the fluctuations of user feedback in the reviews were examined. These revealed that the review sentiments from users from individualistic cultures fluctuate more than from users from collectivistic cultures. The last dependent variable that we examined was the content category. For this purpose, 5 content categories were defined in the preceding methodology of the research, namely noise, other, support request, feature request, and bug reports. The statistically analysis shows that users from individualistic cultures give less useful feedback when they also come from a culture with low uncertainty avoidance. Therefore, our study shows that not only the target groups of app consumers are diverse, but also the user feedback submitted through reviews is subject to cultural differences. Previous research has shown that researchers frequently use app review characteristics for designing, training, validating, and testing algorithms that classify, rank, or summarize user feedback for software development and evolution processes. With actually only few exceptions, previous work has focused on user reviews from the US or written in English only to do these tasks. However, this can lead to biases in the algorithms. For example, ratings are sometimes used for ranking reviews. User reviews with lower ratings are ranked higher because it is assumed that the issues in these reviews are more urgent and users are more dissatisfied than in the higher rated reviews. And subsequent work has actually also used this approach. However, the findings in these studies show that users from individualistic cultures give statistically significant lower ratings than users from collectivistic cultures. Using this ranking rationale, issues from collectivistic cultures would tend to be ranked with lower priority, leading to a bias. Thus, critical issues reported in collectivistic cultures could be missed due to the fact that they actually give in general higher ratings. Besides the implications for researchers, the findings also have some important implications for practitioners. Many review tracking pages like App Annie use app analytic functionalities based on keywords, sentiments, or ratings to give companies an indication on how their mobile application is perceived by their users. Using only countries with similar uncertainty avoidance and individualism scores can lead to cultural biases in the interpretation of the user's perceptions. For example, if practitioners of internationally used apps primarily only look at reviews from high individualism countries like the USA or UK, there may be a bias in the perception of user preferences due to the cultural differences, such as the ratings of the app being lower than when looking at other cultures as well. Thus, companies should choose countries with different uncertainty avoidance and individualism scores. At least if they want to get a more accurate idea of how users perceive their app, especially because apps are often distributed on a global market. So to sum it up, our results can help both researchers and practitioners to select reviews for user feedback more diversely so as not to produce algorithmic bias due to imbalances in the data, and also to do justice to their diverse audience. And with that, I thank you for your attention, and we are now happy to answer all of your questions.
Welcome back to the live sessions. I mean, welcome to this new live session. It's a fabulous one. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining us. And I think Annalena deserves a big round of applause. Thank you. I already see the applause flying over the chat
Thank
for
you.
this fabulous video presentation. And we also have Imitsa here. Welcome. And let's see, throw your questions at us, because I got some in store if you don't have any, but I'm curious what the chat brings up. And if not, I'm going to start pulling out mine. So a piece that I am really curious about, because we only got 4 minutes left here, we want to make use of them, is what was the most interesting part? Because I've recently happened to work a lot with masculinity and femininity. And so I'm really interested in that Hofstede dimension and how that shows up most in your work. And then we'll get Alexander's question in the chat. Go ahead, Annalena.
Yeah. So actually, we did not check on masculinity since we only focused on individualism and uncertainty avoidance here. But this would be definitely a future research direction. Yeah.
Yeah. Please
Good
put it on the list.
question.
Please put it on the list and report back to me. I mean, via obviously another ICSI main conference paper next year.
We will.
Okay, let's see. Alexander is asking, did you check your findings with other demographic attributes such as gender or age?
So actually, this is also a quite good question. We did not here, since we wanted to mainly focus on individualism and uncertainty avoidance, but this would be definitely one of our future research that we are actually currently already checking out how to do it best, because we also know that this is a highly important control variable that need to be analyzed in future research. So thank you for your question.
Good. And then, I mean, it's been 9 months since you published this, or since you had to submit this. What has happened in between? Like, fill us in on the gaps.
Yeah, so basically we are currently analyzing on the potential future research. So one of our main priorities are also to check with other demographic attributes such as gender, education, age, because we think that this is also a highly important topic to analyze and to see whether like the cultural influence or impact still holds and still have a significant impact if we add these control variables. But other than that, we would really like to also validate our results with different cultural models, because we know that Hofstede is like the most used one, but there are also other good ones that would validate the research even more.
Absolutely, yeah. And then Alex has another really good point here. He says another concern is that the Hofstede dimensions are supposed to represent the population in general, while it is not a priori clear that the app users are not somehow biased or like a certain subset. Like they may be younger or they may be more often men. Have you looked into that at all yet?
Yeah, so as I said, like these would be also things that we would need to check in general. But as we also had this discussion beforehand, I think that Hofstede dimensions are still valid also among different age groups and also between different genders. So when I look at myself, I also see a lot of like dimensions, Hofstede dimensions, where it fit perfectly. So I think since this is also validated across different age groups and other demographics groups, I think this is a good starting point.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And you wish you were in the backstage room with us, because we already had a fabulous discussion about the Hofstede dimension. So I highly recommend you come into the discussion room after the session so you can continue your conversation with Annalena and Imitsa. Imitsa, in the 20 seconds left, is there anything that you would like to add to any of these responses?
No, I think maybe just a little bit that we also plan to explore other additional models besides Hofstede. So it's not unmovable. It's also research that was done in the 80s, and we plan to explore how that holds, our results hold using other different cultural models.